Hi there, Mundion Astral Oracles. I'm coming to you from the woods. I have been back to civilization and essentially sort of just stocking up on digital nomad equipment. So I am fully connected to the global village while I'm out here, and not only can I cook, but I have unlimited data, and you may be noticing that I'm coming to you. And different sound and video, and I'm on a phone that has access to the 5G and everything. So hey, here's to the modern world. It's been easier for me doing sessions out in the woods in Denmark than it has been just going on the internet anywhere in Spain or Mexico or Hawaii. So it's very interesting to have this experience, and generally I feel like I was in many ways meant to have all the experiences, but definitely the Hawaiian adventure, and that kind of served to break me open very rapidly and in a lot of ways. So I've been free to piece myself back together in a very healthy and beautiful way, and it's been enjoyable. Though of course also challenging as anything meaningful is. It's usually this balance between the two, right? Feeling both immersed in something, but also feeling that there's that element of resistance or overcoming that actually makes things engaging. And so, if you're watching in real time, please join us this Sunday, August 28th, 2022, for a live stream. That would be lovely to see you there. But we are addressing some with this confusing preliminary, some different questions here about lights in the sky, ancestral spirits, elves, these things. Where I'm coming to you from is. It's called the Elementsbjerg. It's traditionally in pagan times. It was a place where old, especially young couples would go and sort of be have the union blessed by Freyr, who's Freyr the god of fertility, but also kind of the king of the elves and this natural overlord. Um, and so it has a lot of, let's not say haunted energies, but these energies of the will o' the wisp, of the Alfir, of the creatures that inhabit the night, the natural spirits that come forward. um, and in Hawaii, in the jungle, I saw a lot of these. I remember waking up one of the first nights to a green orb floating around outside the room where we slept. And so there was several of these instances, also going up to Volcano, the crater at Manu Kea, and seeing different arrangements of white light that seemed to move, but then would move back into patterns. And we saw this several nights in several different states of consciousness, I might add, and also experiences in the jungle where a light appeared and gleamed, and that was something Molly was very experiencing, while I experienced that at the same time. And Terry's kind of hijacked my consciousness and then began showing me these geometries. So that's essentially a teaser about more to come about the secrets of scorpionic secrets of Antares. But what I want to address is, like, what is the quality of these lights, because some of the Hawaiian myths are connected to it being the ancestral spirits, also to some of these, I think, warrior ghosts in the night. And so the reason that I think this is, well, very pertinent, I really can't make out what it is, but my intuition is that it has to do with kind of the shape of the spirit, so to speak, how it actually looks when it appears, the soul. And so, friend and supporter of the show, Carla, um, lost her mother recently. Condolences. She was old and ailing, so in that way, she needed to move on. Is my impression, but of course that's always sad. But but Carla asked then, hello and love to all. My mom passed here at home um, on August the 13th. In reviewing the ring footage, a small green orb was seen on the footage that zoomed by about a minute or two after her last breath. Can you tell me what this was? No other orbs were observed on the footage all night, which only records when people move. She was not alone when she passed, and there was movement, so the moment was recorded. Thank you so much. And so this green orb that passed by seemed to me to be somehow intuitively connected to this phenomenon of these ancestral lights in the night somehow. And I've been wondering who to talk about it, because partially I sense there's some elfin energy at play, um, with sort of these spirit guides, we could call them, natural spirits. But I am going to go with something angelic. That was kind of my last minute hunch, that I'd like to talk with Raphael about this. And because Raphael is also is it the Book of Jacob? It's one of the apocryphal texts. It's not in usual Protestant Bibles, but where Raphael accompanies him on the journey. So Raphael also has this function of being sort of the one who walks with the soul in difficult times, and through difficult trials and transitions. So let's speak to him, the Archangel of Healing. Um, and with that said, I hope you're doing well out there. I hope you can hear me on this recording, see me all right. And much love to you, everybody. Silver encased in gold, encased in diamond, refined layers of human existence, finally encased in the light that makes it all visible. These are the noble materials that we use to illuminate the human soul. We are speaking of these noble reflections of the soul. I, the Archangel Raphael, I bring you the love and blessings of heaven. I let you know that your mother has passed on, made her transition fully, that the trials that may accompany the wandering of the soul from one plane to the next, well, those trials were successfully completed, and so she made her way into the lights. This is where most of you go when you release into other worlds. So, this is the deep secret. There are different ways of describing this. In many of what you call near-death experiences, you will see people describing different entities of light, different presences of love, often in the shape or the figure of a deceased loved one coming forward. You will also find in different instructions and manuals on how to pass on, in, for instance, the Egyptian tradition, this presence of trials and tests, this idea of the lights that will need to be attained, the movement through the night into the sunrise of the next life, the eternal life. Then you also are aware of this tradition, the Tibetan, the idea of the Book of the Dead, what happens in the passage of the soul between the worlds. It varies greatly, some mysteries I cannot reveal to you here, but what you saw, this light that you experienced in real time, as her soul was moving, that is, releasing from the energy grid, the energy configuration, this being a type of what you know as a metaphysical process, but indeed a type of physical disjunction or reordering of her spiritual soul path. What she did was she went into the lights, and when the lights had established that link, they severed her from, let's call it the energy grid, the substructure of the Merkaba that connects the tether, and indeed that connects the eternal part of her to the temporal part of her. Separating this, you saw this light emanating from her heart. This was the tether, the heart tether, that binds her together. This light that moved past. Well, one of the reasons, and this may also help to comfort you that you saw it, was that she was surrounded by loved ones. She was guided and protected by other loving entities in that moment she passed. And so this created a type of protection grid, a safety grid. It is not only for sentimental reasons that human beings understand the value of passing on in your home full of days surrounded by loved ones. It creates a type of safe passage into the next world. And then for most of you, into reincarnation. That is to say, to simplify this, if there is no dimensional jump taking place in the process of reincarnation, you move into an approximately similar vibration, approximately similar trajectory of a human lifetime. This is indeed also what your mother did. So her being focused in this energy grid surrounded by loved ones, their heart spaces, allowed for her energy grid to disconnect and dissolve. And then for this impulse, what you saw was actually the concentrated tether that binds the physical and the spiritual together, merging, ascending, so to speak, moving into heaven and merging into it. What you will often find then is that these lights, they return in certain spaces where they hold certain energies that they resonate with. That is, some spirits who incarnate, they either belong much of, or they have much of their energy also residing in those worlds, sometimes described as chiral. We like to think of them more as enchanted. That is, these enchanted realms, some human beings hold more of their energy. Many human beings who are drawn to this type of practice and communication, for instance, will find that much of their energy is in resonance with the elfin worlds. Many of you are discovering more of these energy patterns. Where is your otherworldly energy coming from? What is the pattern? Is it connected to the stars? Is it coming from the geometries of Antares, as in this individual's case? Or is it more related to the spirits that whisper from the beyond in the night, much as he experienced the individual he was with being mesmerized by these lights in the night? Those of you who connect more to the elemental forces, the realms of the earth, you will perhaps experience more of these shimmering lights. Those of you who think of yourselves much as custodians and of plants, of life forms, of animals, you will be more focused in a type of heart space that allows for the passage of this light. You will therefore also find many more of these, let's call them sprite-like visitations, visitations of these moving lights in the night. Some places, some magical places you can seek out, such as, for instance, this individual experienced at the Mount of Manu Kea, that sacred volcano. There you will find that certain guardian patterns, certain grids, certain spirits actually materialize and focus themselves in. They remain hidden to many who do not necessarily look for them, but they are quite visible. They do dances in regular intervals to focus these energies. These are some of the passing energies in the night. This is also something you would discover, for instance, if you were to take more walks in the wood in your local area here, addressing all of the people gathered here. If you were to spend a lot of time at night outside, which few people do at these times, you would find that certain lights would pass by at certain intervals, and that these lights would actually be quite regular. This is also why certain people understood that certain areas, such as the mountain that our friend here finds himself close to, or the mound, the place that's connected to the congregation of the Althea, the natural spirits, that these are places that the spirits have selected to create and maintain these portals between the different realms, between the heaven and earth, between the underworld and the sky. And indeed, it was these shamanic portals that this individual was meant to walk through as he connected through that island energy. It was through visiting the underworld and through moving through this underworld experience that he emerged, erupted, and then now seems to ascend into natural states of being, circumvented causalities that are connected to the lawfulness of the future, the light that is being grown by both future human beings, future versions of yourself, galactic brethren, all those who oversee the positive creations that go on in this galaxy, and indeed in this multiverse, though different and manifold they may be. There are many creations going on, but know that there is an ecology of the souls, there is a shape of the soul, and it is concentrated in a light. This light can have different shapes, different nuances. It can appear in different variations and concentrations. Much of this speak to the configuration of your soul. You will find much indigo and purple surrounding the being here present. Much Arcturian energy is present here, for instance. This is speaking to configuration patterns. But where are you drawing your patterns at this moment? Are they coming from the parallel and enchanted realities? Are the underworlds opening and showing you the tonic secrets? Are the dragons teaching you their wisdoms and mysteries, establishing boundaries, powerful integrity as you move into loving action? Or are you being guided by the stars, by the Pleiadian lights, by the configurations and constellations that speak to the deepest silent spaces of your soul? Or indeed, are the angels reaching you? At this moment, do you feel the love we hold for you? The heavens, we have this infinite, boundless love. Always we extend fully, uncompromisingly, unwavering in our sustenance, in our sustaining the crystalline spheres, the turning energetic heavens of your innermost reality, the numinous secrets of you, magical spirit. Are you feeling the angels sustain you? Do you sense that you are personally guided and blessed, and you are universally accompanied by me, the Archangel of Healing? And so with this vibration, I lend to you this healing vibration. I part ways from you this day with love and gratitude for what we have shared. a ladder to heaven and back in to the true center of yourself. The love of all is the love within you. Peace. That was the Archangel Raphael. And so I hope that served you. And I'll just add as a note, I've been experiencing the energies of channeling quite differently also in sessions. So I blank out way more. It's hard for me to recall what goes on, but I do find that these deep mysteries that my mind seems to come upon and is posing, like these questions of what are these connections, seem to be unraveled and connected and made sense of in the channeling. So I'm very grateful for that, and I hope it stirred something meaningful in you too. Much love to you out there.